Hey there everybody, it's Melissa from Sincerely Saturday, and today I'm going to show you how to fix torn drywall paper. This happened above my mantle when I removed the Easter eggs that you guys may have seen. It happened because of some poster tack, which was not supposed to tear, so now I'm going to show you the proper way to fix it. First things first, you are going to want some primer that is a shellac based, not water based. If you use water based primer on the paper, it will bubble up, and that's a whole nother can of worms. You're also going to need a putty knife. This one is about a 4-inch flexible blade. You're also going to need some joint compound. I like the premix kind. You can buy that little container from Home Depot for about $5. And a drywall sponge. You can use some fine grit sandpaper, but I prefer the drywall sponge. And you're going to need primer and paint in the color of your wall. So first thing you are going to do is remove any chips or overhangs you have. You just use your putty knife and you're going to go in all directions around the tear to make sure you remove any extra stuff. I just have it's a tiny tear, but I wanted to make sure I fixed it properly because it's right over my mantle and it's very visible. So here you see me removing all of the possible little chips and overhangs that I may have had. I'm going to show you what it looks like from the side with a flashlight shown on it so you can see what the texture of the paper looks like. If your paper is torn quite a bit and you're having a lot of bits and pieces hanging off, you may consider sanding your paper down a little bit with some fine grit sandpaper to knock down any of the big pieces of paper hanging off before you apply your shellac based primer. So after you've made sure that you've knocked everything down, it's nice and flat and you have a good surface to work on, you're going to apply 1 coat of your shellac based primer and just follow the directions on manufacturer's directions and as far as like drying times and how long you have to wait to apply joint compound. This bin primer, it's fairly fast. I think it's about a 45-minute dry. So I applied a decent coat of that, you can see here, and I'm going to wait for that to dry before we apply the joint compound. So now I know my primer is nice and dry. It's ready for the joint compound to be applied. I put my joint compound on my knife in the center edge of the blade, so about the first 2 inches of the blade is going to have that, and I find it easier to control where I'm putting it. So you're going to want to hold your blade on the wall at about a 30-degree angle. You can see I'm applying it pretty liberally, and while I'm dragging it, I have my finger on the back of the blade so I can control how much pressure I'm putting on the blade itself. And the idea is that you're going to want to apply the thinnest layer you can while also having the maximum coverage, and you can see how much I still have left on my knife after I've applied it. So this is just a picture of it drying. It dries like this, and once it's completely nice and white, it is ready to be sanded down. If you've done a good job, you really shouldn't have to sand that much. You're going to sand really the edges down. Sometimes you might have little ridges that you need to go over. I didn't. I just kind of gave it an overall nice sand, and the edges were very nice and smooth. And once I'm happy with that, you're going to use a tack cloth of some sort. I have a damp wash rag that I use to remove all of the drywall dust, and there is a considerable amount of drywall dust. No matter how good you are going to have a ton. Once you have done that, you are going to want to apply a primer that is made to go over the joint compound. That's a whole separate thing that you're going to need to purchase. It is almost like a thin down glue, but it is very important so that once you've painted over this, your paint does not absorb into the joint compound, because if you do not seal it, joint compound sucks the paint in and it looks mottled and awful. So this is a vital part of this repair. Once that has dried, go ahead and slap on your paint. I apologize for the angles of all of these things. I'm doing this over my phone and a camera mount, so it is kind of an awkward way to apply this joint compound and paint, but I hope you guys get the picture. Once that is done, let it dry and your wall is finished. Thank you to my mom, aka the DIY Jedi Master, for teaching me this, and now I taught you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and visit sincerelysaturday.com for other awesome DIYs and tutorials.